One battle kills Rhaenyra's heir. Another turns Daeron Targaryen into a hero. One leaves so many corpses behind that survivors name it after the fish feeding on the dead. One ends the story of Criston Cole. And one contains the greatest betrayal of the entire Dance of the Dragons. These aren't just battles. They're the moments that decide the war. Season 2 was the build-up. Season 3 is where everything falls apart. Let's start with the battle that changes everything. The Battle of the Gullet. It isn't just one of the largest naval battles of the dance. The Battle of the Gullet is remembered as one of the bloodiest sea battles in all of Westerosi history. By the beginning of 130 AC, the Blacks appear to be winning. Jacaerys Velaryon's fleet dominates the seas. Dragonstone remains secure, and Rhaenyra's position is stronger than it has been in months. Then, the Triarchy strikes. The same alliance of Lys, Myr, and Tyrosh that Daemon Targaryen once fought during the War for the Stepstones launches a massive surprise attack on the waters around Dragonstone. The timing could not be worse. At the exact moment the enemy fleet appears, Rhaenyra's sons, Aegon and Viserys, are being sent across the narrow sea for safety. Their ship is intercepted. Viserys is captured. Aegon barely escapes aboard his young dragon Stormcloud. The dragon manages to carry him back to Dragonstone, then dies from its wounds. The warning arrives just in time. Leading the defense is Jacaerys Velaryon. For 2 seasons, Jace has quietly become one of the most important figures among the Blacks. He won over the North. He helped find new dragon riders when Rhaenyra desperately needed them. Now he flies into the largest battle of his life. Dragons fill the sky. Warships burn. The sea itself becomes a battlefield. One moment, Jace is leading the attack against the Triarchy fleet. In the next, he and his dragon are struck with crossbow bolts and plunge into the water below. Rhaenyra's heir is dead. Meanwhile, part of the enemy fleet slips past Dragonstone and sacks Spicetown on Driftmark, leaving one of the richest ports in Westeros in flames. As Jacaerys Velaryon later put it, "If this be victory, I pray I never win another." The next battle belongs to a prince many viewers still barely know, Daeron Targaryen. And the battle that makes him famous is the Battle of the Honeywine. While Aegon and Aemond have dominated House of the Dragon so far, Daeron has remained largely absent from the story. That changes here. As war spreads across the Reach, Lord Aemond Hightower finds himself in serious trouble. His army is trapped between 2 black forces and appears headed for defeat. Then, a massive shadow passes over the battlefield. Daeron arrives on Tessarion. The battle changes instantly. What looked like a crushing defeat becomes a green victory. The Hightowers rally. Their enemies break, and Daeron emerges as the hero of the day. Before the Honeywine, Daeron is largely an afterthought in the war. In the aftermath of the battle, Lord Aemond Hightower knights the young prince with vigilance, the Valyrian steel sword of House Hightower, and gives him the name that will follow him for the rest of his life, Daeron the Daring. When Aemond praises him afterward, Daeron reportedly insists the true hero of the day was his dragon, Tessarion. For book readers, this is the moment a fan favorite enters the war. For show viewers, it may be the moment they realize there is another Targaryen brother capable of changing everything. The third battle on this list has one of the most gruesome names in Westerosi history, the Fishfeed. The bloodiest land battle of the Dance of the Dragons begins with an old Northman giving a simple order. Best make an end to these lions before the dragons come. The speaker is Lord Roderick Dustin, better known as Roddy the Ruin, leader of the Winter Wolves. He and thousands of elderly Northmen marched south, knowing they would never see the North again. Now they are about to help destroy one of the largest green armies in the war. Officially, it is known as the Battle by the Lakeshore. Nobody remembers that name. They remember the bodies. A powerful Lannister army has marched into the Riverlands, hoping to crush Rhaenyra's supporters. Instead, it walks into a nightmare. Black armies converge from multiple directions near the God's Eye. The fighting is savage. Men drown in the lake. Others are cut down among the reeds lining its shores. By sunset, the shores of the God's Eye are littered with bodies. The Lannister host has been shattered. The Greens may not have lost the war, but they have lost their best chance of dominating the Riverlands. And the battlefield is left so covered in corpses that survivors joke the fish will be feasting for years. The name sticks. The Fishfeed. One of the bloodiest days of the entire dance. But even that slaughter is overshadowed by what comes next. The Butcher's Ball. Criston Cole helped shape the fate of Westeros for 2 seasons. At the Butcher's Ball, Westeros finally returns the favor. Following a series of disasters, Criston finds himself stranded in hostile territory with an exhausted army and dwindling supplies. Every day, more men desert. Every day, his position becomes worse. Eventually, he is cornered by riverlords and Northmen, outnumbered, surrounded. With nowhere left to run, according to the story, Criston offers to settle matters through single combat. Roddy the Ruin refuses. Sir Garibald Grey refuses. Then, Pate of Longleaf delivers the line that defines the battle forever. "I'll have no songs about how brave you died, Kingmaker. There's tens of thousands dead on your account." Moments later, arrows cut Criston Cole down before he can even draw his sword. No songs about a glorious last stand. Just arrows. The Kingmaker dies in the mud. His army collapses around him. One survivor later summarizes the entire affair in a single sentence. "Today was butchery, not battle." The name lasts forever. The Butcher's Ball. And finally, we arrive at the conflict that feels built for the Season 3 finale, the First Battle of Tumbleton. If the Gullet kills Rhaenyra's heir and the Butcher's Ball kills the Kingmaker, Tumbleton destroys any illusion that this war still has rules. By now, Daeron Targaryen and the Green Army in the Reach are marching toward King's Landing. Standing in their path is Tumbleton. The outnumbered Black Army prepares to stop them. At first, everything goes right. The Winter Wolves launch a ferocious assault out of a postern gate. Bloodied from head to toe, but drunk with the frenzy of battle, Roddy the Ruin cuts his way through the fighting and kills Ormond Hightower in single combat before being finally cut down himself. Victory appears close. For a brief moment, it looks like the Blacks have won. But without warning, the Dragon Seeds, Hugh Hammer and Ulf White turn against the very side they pledged to fight for. In an instant, the balance of power in the war shifts. 2 of Rhaenyra's dragon riders suddenly become 2 of her greatest enemies, 2 of the most powerful dragons alive, now attacking the Blacks. What follows is so devastating that later historians compare it to a smaller version of the Field of Fire itself. Dragonfire engulfs Tumbleton. Buildings burn. Thousands die. Panic spreads through the streets. What should have been a victory becomes a catastrophe. And the horror doesn't stop when the battle ends. According to the historical accounts, few towns in the history of the Seven Kingdoms suffered a sack as long, cruel, or savage as the one that followed at Tumbleton. News of the disaster spreads across Westeros. Even King's Landing begins to panic, because if Tumbleton can fall, nowhere is safe. The Dance of the Dragons begins as a dispute over succession. By Tumbleton, it has become a nightmare, and the worst is still to come.